Good morning, everyone. Just making a little video as I was out on my walk today, and it might be a little blowy and windy, but so I was thinking this morning, like, I kind of woke up and I had a really interesting dream and experience with this version of me. And so lately what I've been working on is letting go, like this topic of letting go. It's very prominent in my life, and I've just been getting a lot of like, okay, you know, you look up on YouTube videos and like how-tos and what are all these people saying about letting go? What is it? What resonates with me? What doesn't, for what I'm going through right now? And one thing that I have come to understand within myself is a major reason that's really hard for me to let go of certain like people in my life that I'm ready to let go of, that I'm being kind of like called and pushed to let go of certain situations, people, is not necessarily to let go of them, is what I'm realizing, but it's to let go of the version of myself that established the relationship to begin with. That kind of, you know, when we're in any relationship, it's a two-part thing, right? So it's like, who are we coming into this relationship? What are we bringing to the table? What's the purpose? That is like what caused kind of a reasoning for us to be like in this situation of like needing to let go, you know? So like, what's my part in it all? And what's the version of myself that allowed X, Y, and Z to get to this point? What were the patterns? What were the behaviors? What was the relationship built upon? You know, like looking at all of those details. Excuse me. So it's sometimes, there's like a little stick, a little bit more than just letting go of someone or something. It's like letting go of a version of yourself. So then you have to ask, like, what does this version of me represent? What is it holding on to? What is so hard for me to let go of in this version of me? What is the perceived rewards, right, that I'm getting through certain behaviors or mindsets or what have you, you know? And so I seen like this little visualization because I was like, holy moly, like, I don't think people don't talk so much about the process of sometimes like releasing past versions of you and the weight that comes with it, right? Like, so many people, they talk about like generational bonds, generational trauma, your own trauma, your own, you know, like programming, things that we've developed for ourselves, versions of ourselves that are trying to keep us safe, you know, destructive patterns that so many people carry. But then not only that, we have like collective consciousness, we have societal things that we're subconsciously attached to, we have generational things, we have past life things. And depending on what you're working on, like, holy fuck, dude, this morning I was like, I seen this visualization of me, of like, it was me, and then I had these like ropes carrying this, like, it was almost like a city that I was dragging behind me. And I was like, holy, like, that's what it feels like when you're in the process. So the process, what I'm trying to say is like the process of letting go and like actually processing and like working through all of it at once. Like, please don't give up, because it is so worth it. It is so worth it, but it can feel so heavy. Like, it can feel, and it is not a one and done thing. I'm telling you, like, it's like an every moment of everyday kind of awareness kind of thing. Like, when you're really trying to shift patterns, it's going to come up 1,000 times stronger, because the programming inside of you knows. Like, because your awareness is to it, it's going to come up. But then when you're trying to shift it and like consciously allow new to come in, it's going to be that much stronger. So please don't give up. It might feel like a whole city is weighing on you, like, and that's all part of it. It's shedding. It's coming to the surface to be shed. So please don't get intimidated. You know what? Screw it. Get intimidated sometimes, because like it is, I sit here every day and I'm like, what? Am I making any progress? Like, Lord, please tell me if I'm making progress, you know, because sometimes it feels like I'm going backwards. But I know that I'm not. And there's so many blessings around every single corner that just, it tells me that I'm on the right path. And I know that when you're paying attention, you will also get, you know, like, look for signs of synchronicities. They're all around us, and just trust that you're on the right path. Trust that you're doing the work. If you have an intention to want to heal and work through patterns and just, you know, work through things that don't feel good, work towards becoming the versions of yourself that are freeing, like, keep working towards that. No matter how heavy it gets, just listen to your intuition. Ask, what's the next step? Like, I don't need to know who I'm gonna be next year. I don't even know who I'm gonna be next week, but like, what is my next step today? How can I take care of myself? And that reminds me of one last thing. This morning I had kind of this visualization, and it was thinking about all of, like, when I was thinking about what was the version of me that I am letting go of, right? It was, I seen all of these things, because I was writing in my journal, all of these things that were kind of coming out, you know, and then I just had this visualization of this like little monster. So I seen myself, it was like me separating from this other version of me, like ready to let it go. And it came out as this like little monster child, but like with little horns and everything, like almost like a little devil child. But she had the most beautiful smile on her face, and she almost looked like a little gremlin in a way. Like, it was really funny. And then she grabbed the hand of like an adult gremlin, and she was like waving so beautiful. Like, her heart was just so, wow. Her heart was so big, you know? Whoa, holy. But you could tell that, like, wow, love you guys, and I love me. But you could tell, so like those versions of you, right, that we try to push away, the heavy parts of us, like the negative emotions that we feel, like they all formed within us to keep us safe, you know, and because they really love us, like we did that for ourselves. So even though those parts of us that we want to separate from, that we want to heal, that we want to let go of, like, it's so important to acknowledge and like appreciate and love them and see them off with like so much love. I remember going up and like giving her the biggest hug and like all the kisses on the face, and it translated into my life, because I realized that there were times that you push away the people that you care about the most, you know? And I feel that way sometimes. Like, when I seen that little version of me, I realized so many times that I'd push her away, even though her whole life
purpose was to keep me safe, you know? So, wow. This is me, guys. If you know me well enough, you know that crying is like, it's healthy for the soul. But, yeah, it's like noticing where we might be pushing away people that are closest to us, you know, or like taking them for granted. And it's not on purpose by any means, but what's the programming, right? Like, is there parts of ourselves that had been developed to keep us safe because of so much love that we have for ourselves on a really deep level, you know, even though it seems like destructive patterns, just by recognizing that it's all built to keep you safe and because it loves you. And then I think in recognizing that, it helps to let it go, you know, and to embrace these new versions of yourself that you want to become. It's through allowing yourself to acknowledge those parts of you that you weren't necessarily like excited for and didn't understand that much about them. So challenge of the day after this really long video is to reach out to people, you know, like reach out to somebody and just tell them how much you appreciate them, that you really care about, and think about your relationship that you have. Like, what's an area where you can like hug them a little longer, or just like do something where you're not expecting anything in return at all, just because you care about them. And also yourself, like when you have some sort of negative emotion or like big reaction to something, instead of like rejecting yourself and pushing yourself down and like trying to push away that emotion, like what if you embraced it a little bit more? What if you had brought in compassion, right? And said like, okay, you're obviously hurting, like let me take a moment for myself, let me go to the bathroom, let me go into my room, let me journal a little bit, like what's going on, tell me what's happening, like I'm here to listen, not to judge, not to criticize, not to attach myself to the external world to validate who I am, but let me get to know who I am inside right now, what's happening, you know? And just by showing up for yourself in that way is going to create a new relationship, a new bond with yourself, to know that it's okay to be vulnerable within yourself. It's okay for those parts of ourselves that we've pushed down for so long to come to the surface. It's safe. And that's what it all boils down to, is feeling safe and secure. And I'm going to do another video on this topic specifically, so stay tuned. But until then, letting go can be tough. It can be a run for your money, and just keep holding on. Hold on to your vision. Hold on to what you know is true for yourself and what you're capable of. And just love yourself through this process. Love whatever comes up, whatever. Even if it's so dark and heavy, just like love it and appreciate it, and know that it was only developed to keep you safe and secure and loved, and allow it to let go, and allow other versions of you that you want to embrace more of to come to the surface. All right, love you guys. Have a beautiful day.